Good morning, my loving children. How are you? Very good. Now we are in a new platform. Here we can together explore and enjoy a new horizon of knowledge. Are you ready to enjoy it? Today I am here with you to help to study political science. Today let us begin the need of power sharing in a democracy with reference to two small countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka. Let us start. We can start with Belgium. Belgium is a small country in Europe. Small means it is smaller in area than one of our Indian state Haryana. Belgium has a little over 1 crore population. That is about half the population of Haryana. Belgium shares its borders with France, Germany, Netherlands and Luxembourg. There is a saying, small is beautiful. But in this small country, the condition was not beautiful. Do you know what is the reason for that? The ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. What is meant by the term ethnic? Ethnic is a social division based on a shared culture. Now we can see the ethnic composition of Belgium. In Belgium, the people were divided on the basis of language. Out of the total population, 59% people speak Dutch language and they live in the Flemish region. 40% people speak French language and they live in the Wallonia region. How many percentage is remaining? 59% were Dutch speakers. 40% were French speakers. How many percentage is remaining? Yes, very good. Only 1%. That 1% people speak German language. Brussels is the capital of Belgium. In the capital city Brussels, the situation is different from that country. 80% were French speakers and only 20% were Dutch speakers. From this, it is clear that in the country Belgium, Dutch speakers are majority but they are minority in the capital city Brussels. Like that, the French speakers are majority in the capital city Brussels but they are minority in the country. Here we can see the map of Belgium. In the center, capital city Brussels. We can see the Flemish region and Wallonia region. In one side of the Wallonia region, we can see some lines. These are the settlement area of the German speakers. These minority French speakers were rich and powerful in the society. Then what will be done by the Dutch speakers? They were majority in the country. Definitely, they opposed the power of that French speakers. These Dutch speakers got the benefit of economic development and education much later. This led to a tension or conflict between the Dutch-speaking community and French-speaking community in Belgium during 1950s and 1960s. Which is the capital of Belgium? Very good, Brussels. In Brussels, the problem was more acute or more serious. What is the reason for that serious problem in Brussels? Brussels faced another problem. Dutch speakers are majority in the country, but they are minority in the capital. This is the ethnic composition of this small country, Belgium. Let us compare with another small country, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island nation. It is few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. It has a population of 2 crore, same as the population of Haryana. Like Belgium, Sri Lanka also has social diversity. The majority of the people in Sri Lanka were Sinhala speakers, 74%. Other community is Tamil speakers, they are 18%. These Tamil speakers of Sri Lanka are again divided into two, Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. Tamil speakers total 18%, Sri Lankan Tamils 13% and Indian Tamils only 5%. These two terms, Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils, from this word we can simply understand what is the meaning of these Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. Sri Lankan Tamils, Tamils in Sri Lanka. That means the native Tamils of Sri Lanka are called Sri Lankan Tamils. They are born and brought up in Sri Lanka. Then what is meant by Indian Tamils? Yes, from India to Sri Lanka. Their forefathers came from India to Sri Lanka as plantation workers during the colonial period. These Sri Lankan Tamils settled in the north and east part of Sri Lanka. We can discuss the religious belief of different social groups in Sri Lanka. The Sinhala speakers, they believed in Buddhism. Then Tamil speakers, they believed in Hinduism or Islam. In Sri Lanka, there are about 7% Christians. Now, definitely, there will be a question in your mind. Buddhist people speak Sinhala language. Most of the Hindus and Muslims speak Tamil language. Then what will be the language of the Christians? The Christians used both language, Sinhala language and Tamil language. This is the social diversity in Sri Lanka. Here you can watch the map of Sri Lanka. In the majority place, Sinhala speakers are settled. In the north and eastern part of Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Tamils are settled. Now we discussed the different social groups in Belgium and Sri Lanka. In these two countries, majority communities are there, minority communities are there. Let us imagine what would happen in these two countries if the communities are not ready to share power. If the communities are not ready to share power, mainly the majority community is not ready to share power with the minority community, that will lead to a conflict or a war. Now we can look what happened in these two countries. First we can listen what happened in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka became an independent nation in 1948. After that, they formed a democratically elected government. Who were majority in Sri Lanka? Yes, very good. Sinhala speakers. These Sinhala speakers formed a government. This majoritarian government adopted many measures and policies. All these measures favored the Sinhala people. Here we discussed majoritarian government. What is meant by the term majoritarianism? Dominance of majority community. Majoritarianism is a belief that majority community should be able to rule a country in whichever way they want by disregarding the needs and wishes of the minorities. In majoritarianism, majority community force their dominance over the minority community and disregarding the interest, needs and wishes of the minorities. That majoritarianism was practiced in Sri Lanka. This newly elected majoritarian Sinhala government, they passed many laws. All these favored the Sinhala speakers. Now we can look what are the majoritarian measures adopted by the newly elected government in Sri Lanka. First measure is, they passed an act in the year 1956. According to this act, Sinhala became the only official language of the country. Sinhala became the only official language. So what was the other important language in that country? Tamil. Then what happened to Tamil language? This newly elected government disregarded that Tamil language. They gave preference only to Sinhala language. Sinhala became the only official language of the country. Second measure is the majoritarian government followed many preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university position and government jobs. In education, jobs, etc., they favored the Sinhala applicants only. In that field also, they avoided the Tamils. Third majoritarian measure is related with religion. What was the religion of the Sinhala speakers? Very good, Buddhism. Then definitely this majoritarian government passed many measures to protect and promote Buddhism. The newly elected government protected and promoted Buddhism. All these three majoritarian measures created a feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. The Sri Lankan Tamils believed that the government formed by the Buddhist Sinhala leaders were not sensitive to the language and culture of the Tamil speakers. The constitution and the government policies denied their equal political rights, discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities. And all these measures ignored the interest of the Tamils. All these majoritarian measures, government policies, constitution, in every field they faced discrimination. Then Sri Lankan Tamils formed many political organizations. With the help of these political organizations, Sri Lankan Tamils put forward some demands to the Sinhala government.